Oh man, this lawsuit involving Kylian Mbappe and Paris Saint-Germain has really, really gone to the next level now, because it has been reported that Kylian Mbappe wants no less than 263 million euros, which is around 230 million pounds for us here in the UK, and getting close to around 300 million US dollars. A lot of money, however you convert it. He wants that from his former club. And in return as well, PSG are counter-suing. They are demanding an amount almost as large themselves. But what is this lawsuit about? What's going to happen next? These are huge sums of money, particularly for Kylian Mbappe, who is a very rich man. Let's not get it away from... Who is a very rich man. Let's not get it mixed up here. You know, he would have earned a boatload of money from Paris Saint-Germain and also now from Real Madrid too. But that is a lot of money, even for him. So what is this all about? What's going to happen next? I got an article here on BBC Sport that goes over all that, guys, and I'll give my thoughts at the end of the video, as always. Shout out to Elizabeth Botcherby for covering this. France captain Kylian Mbappe is seeking 263 million euros from PSG, with his former club in return demanding 240 million euros from the player, as their long-running dispute reached a Paris labour court on Monday of this week. The 26-year-old Real Madrid forward is claiming the sum, which includes 55 million euros in unpaid wages from the European champions, as damages in response to a contract dispute and alleged perceived ill treatment by the club. PSG, however, are claiming their figure as compensation for Mbappe's failed 300 million euro transfer to Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal in 2023. He joined Spanish giants Real Madrid on a free transfer the following summer in 2024. The tribunal is meeting, however, they are not expected to reach an outcome for a few weeks at least. The long-running dispute began in July 2023 when Mbappe turned down the move to the Saudi Pro League. Mbappe believes he was sidelined by the French champions for that decision and for refusing to sign a contract extension. He was not invited to take part in PSG's pre-season tour of Asia and missed their first match of the season before being reinstated to the side. PSG claimed this followed the player's agreement to forego some of his end-of-season contract payments to protect the club's financial health. I mean, let's just take a minute for this. Let's just think about that for a second, right? PSG are owned by the state of Qatar. I know they will say they are not. They are owned, in theory, by a private individual, Nasser El Khalifi, I believe his name is, right? But in reality, they are owned by the state of Qatar. They're going to be fine. They're fine. Even with the wages they're paying the likes of Kylian Mbappe, they are fine, right? They had Neymar, Lionel Messi, and Kylian Mbappe all on the same side, right? The likes of Gianluigi Donnarumma, the likes of Sergio Ramos have had absolutely astronomical wages at that club. They'll be fine, you know. They are not under threat financially whatsoever. Which kind of goes into the defence of Kylian Mbappe here, because his representatives have said that this is all a fantasy, with the player still waiting for salary and bonus payments. Following Monday's hearing, PSG said they were seeking recognition of the significant damages suffered by the club for what they called Mbappe's serious breaches of his legally binding contractual commitments. The club say Mbappe acted disloyally by concealing for nearly 11 months between July 2022 and June 2023 his decision not to extend his contract. Again, this happens all the time in football. This happens all the time. Not just players either, this is clubs too. Clubs quite often will string on players, just lead them on and say, yeah, we'll give you a contract extension, no worries. Next thing you know, you're out of the club on a Bosman, you know. It can go both ways. It can absolutely go both ways. So that, in theory, there's nothing wrong with that. There is no football contract on earth that any player would sign that would say that you must keep to the terms of this contract. You must see out this contract. And if you don't, we will sue you. That's what things like loyalty bonuses are for and stuff like that. You know, that would be paid out. I don't know what his loyalty bonus would have been for PSG. Let's just say it was 10 million euros. Probably a lot more, knowing the details of this contract. But let's just say it was 10 million euros, right? And it's a 5-year contract. That'll be paid out in like 2 million euro installments for every year he is there. If he leaves before that contract is up, then he'll lose whatever percentage of that is that he would have got for those remaining years. But he went on a free. He went on a free to Real Madrid. He saw out his contract. So PSG are really clutching at straws here, in my opinion. Mbappe's representatives also rejected any claim of harassment or pressure and said that PSG also went on to say that they reject any claim of harassment or pressure and said that Mbappe benefited from exceptional conditions for 7 years at PSG. Mbappe was at PSG from 2017 to 2024 and scored 256 goals in 308 games, winning 15 trophies during that time. The Real Madrid striker was initially claiming €55 million in unpaid wages from the Ligue 1 champions in a dispute that went through the French football's governing bodies before reaching the courts. I mean, we'll have to see what happens, I mean, I'm not a legal expert by any means, but my knowledge of football very much does lean on the side of the player here. I don't think he'll get that full amount. He'll probably get the 55 million he initially claimed or something like that. If PSG haven't paid his wages for that time, then that's black and white. Saying that, PSG complaining that, oh, Mbappe, we trusted you, bro, we thought you were the one, you were meant to stay here for your whole career. What are you doing, bro? Why are you leaving us? Why are you going Real Madrid? We're going to win the Champions League this season, don't you know? And they did win the Champions League, but that's beside the point. But, it does very much feel like, a bitter ex-girlfriend or a bitter ex-boyfriend or whatever, It's a bit like, oh, but I trusted you, I thought you were the one. And you just had to go and ruin it. It's like that. And then it turns out that PSG, girl, it's all right. You're better without him. I mean, I think they would have won the Champions League with him as well. But anyway, so, he saw out his contract. In no other industry, right? If you're a temporary worker, if you have, I'm digressing here, but this goes into employment stuff as well. This is just about football. This is about employment as well. If you've got a contract, right, for 6 months, 12 months, right, you do that job, right, you get paid for it. And if they don't want to offer you a new contract after, fine. That's the nature of contract work. Football is a bit like that. It is not, there's no permanent employees, really. You have a contract that it goes up to a certain date. There's not that many other industries that have something specifically like that, When you join a company permanently, right, it is in theory permanent. There is no end date to that deal, right? So it's more like a temporary worker where you just go around from place to place, from club to club. And yeah, some people stay at one club or a few clubs for their entire career, right? But some choose to move around. Mbappe isn't even originally from PSG. He's from Paris. I believe he was born there, but he came from Monaco. They bought him for like 100 million euros or whatever from Monaco when he was like 17, 18, something like that. Boy, did he repay them. I mean, the guy was an absolute animal at PSG. He terrorised them French farmers in Ligue 1 for the best part of a decade, right? And a lot of the best teams in Europe too. So for me, PSG's argument is about as solid and as durable as a poppadom. You can just cut straight through it, right? If PSG have not paid Mbappe's wages, 55 million euros of wages, which is probably a year of wages for Mbappe there, maybe half a year, I don't know. He was on a lot of money there. Then it's pretty black and white. What the rest of those damages are, I don't really know. Maybe like legal costs and stuff like that, and reputational damage. I don't know. I'm not seeing the full details of the lawsuit, but yeah, it's an interesting one, guys, and it really hope that PSG lose this case. I really hope they do. I hope Mbappe gets his money back. And again, people are like, oh, why are you rooting for Mbappe? He's rich, It's like, well, the man had a contract. He signed that contract and he deserved to be paid for it. That's it. That's it. I don't care if you're on minimum wage or you're earning £1 million a week like Ronaldo over in Saudi, right? A contract is a contract and it should be honoured. Simple as that. Rant over. But that's just my opinion on it, guys. Let me know yours in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this, guys. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today. And if you sign a new contract, read the fine print. Make sure that you're protected, because you don't want to end up in the courts like these two now, do you?